Hey y'all, this is Professor Drew Bingham coming at you with a new chapter to talk about something real quick. I want to try and make it as quick as I possibly can because I don't want to bore you out. Recently, I just saw, I read about Stephen A. Smith, the analyst for ESPN. He gave a speech at a local college in Alabama. And what he told them was quite controversial because people, kind of take it out of context, and I'm gonna tell you why. He told them racism doesn't exist for you. Racism that your parents went through and your grandparents and even your great-grandparents went through was overt. It was right there. Them fighting racism is what created the pathway for you to have all of life's riches afforded to you, something along those lines. But basically he was just saying, look, man, there is no excuse for you to fail at this point in life. All you have to do is put in the work. Well, actually, at least that's the context I got out of it. But of course, people came back in and was like, man, this is Uncle Tom talking about. He's cooning for white people. He's doing more for white supremacy by telling black people that, then, this, that, and yada, yada, blase. In other words, kind of like the same rhetoric that they spit out as a result of when Bill Cosby went on this rant a couple of years ago. The problem that I have with that is that he's right. Does racism still exist? Yes. But nowhere near the context and nowhere near the resistance that it once did. I'm sorry. There is no reason in the world that a number of African American people can get together, business people can get together and say, well, we're going to create this network of businesses to further advance our cause, our community. There is nothing that's holding us back as a black community from thriving, from the way our great-grandparents thrived. The Atlanta Renaissance, the Black Wall Street, the Harlem Renaissance. There were a number of places in America that thrived, that had thriving black businesses. The percentage of people who were married with children, of families, of the family unit, there were greater family units. Men went out and worked, and it didn't matter what type of job, as long as they were making money to provide things for their family. And they made great sacrifices, and those sacrifices, and the sacrifice was basically to ensure that the next generation, like their kids, were afforded something that was easier than what they had. I think that's a parent's fatal flaw sometimes, because it's like there are some things that, like, your child is gonna have to go through in order for them to understand and appreciate the money that they make, the money that has been handed to them, the wealth that has been passed down to them. I think that's where we kind of got this thing off. Because we were so inundated with trying to give our kids, parents of generations past were trying to give their kids so much, and they lost sight of the value. We got a lot of stuff, but we lost the value. Now we've gotten to a generation where they are willing to work hard, but there's no incentive for them to work hard, other than the fact, of the basic principles that the grandparents, which most people look at as archaic. I think that was one of the main reasons why Stephen A. said what he said. It wasn't just an indictment saying you niggas ain't got your shit straight. No, it wasn't that at all. It was saying, like, no, there is absolutely nothing in this world that can literally can stop you from doing what you want to do or what you desire to do in life. There is a job that can pay you with your education level to that, but you're not going to get it just out of the gate. The microwave generation has to understand that. It takes time. I remember one interview I saw by Branford Marsalis, and he understood, well, in his interview, he said, I knew that I wasn't going to even be anywhere near that I wanted to be as far as my craft until I was in my 30s. He just knew it. Even though he had all of the perks, he still was striving for something in his craft that took him 10, 15 years to get to a point where he's comfortable. Not even confident, but just comfortable. There was another quote that that I thought was really funny, but it kind of plays into what Stephen A. was saying. He was doing interview for this documentary, Before the Music Dies. You should go check that out if you get a chance. He said, the lesson that I've learned from my students is that they're full of shit. All they want you to tell them is how good they are and how well they play and all that. They just want a pat on the back, and they don't want to divulge into any of the lessons that come with this craft. So basically that's what Stephen A. was getting to. Stephen A. was saying, like, look, whatever you do, you have no excuse not to do it, because the resources are there. Whether people want you to believe that the resources aren't there, trust me, they're there. You have to look, you have to research, you have to engage. You have to engage. You have to do all of those things. There is no excuse for you to fail in this. And racism is at the top of the list that you can't blame anymore, because the tasks that you have to overcome racism right now are far easier than the tasks that our parents, the civil rights movement and the Renaissance movements, man. Like, it's totally different. Just my opinion. Chime in if you want. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And with all that, I want to hear what you got to say. With that, peace.